Gotcha.
Hey, how's it going everybody? Today I'll be taking another look at the Crystal Sage's Rapier. Crystal Sage's Rapier is known for having longer range than the S-Stock. It scales on intelligence and the soft cap is going to be 40. I've paired it with the Murky Longstaff because Murky Longstaff actually does more damage than the Sorcerer's Staff at 40 intelligence. And I found Murky Longstaff was kind of a great pairing for the Crystal Sage's Rapier because you can bring the Fair Flash Sword. I know some of you are going to cringe when I say that, but it actually gets pretty good range on the Murky Longstaff. And at the same time, having the Flash Sword gives you a little bit of a horizontal option that you don't have on the on your Piercing Sword. So the two kind of cover each other's weak points, you see what I'm saying? What I was doing a lot is I would Fair Flash Sword and then I would go right into the R1 afterwards. The other spells I brought are the Great Farron Dart, of course, and Homing Soul Mass. Notice I chose these because they don't need the Sage Ring, so I don't have Sage Ring on this build, I have Ring of Favor instead. And then some of the other items I brought with me are pretty typical, kind of like high tier items. I have the Black Knight Shield. I think Black Knight Shield's pretty much a given if you're going to be using kind of like a Piercing Sword in this case. And then as well as I have on my main hand the Castus, so that I can go into the Perseverance Weapon Art if I wanted to play more aggressive or if I wanted to pressure. And then finally, I do have a Filianor Chime. What I'm doing is I'm stacking the Filianor Chime's Weapon Art, Pray for Favor, with Replenishment to get pretty strong health regen. And I thought that was a little better than going for Tears of Denial in this case. I would have had to take the attunement up to 30. If you want to do that, go for it. I didn't really see... I mean, I guess you could argue it's probably a little better, but to me it didn't make that big of a difference. So if you want Tears, bring Tears. So when I was using it to duel in the arena, it definitely felt kind of like a mid-tier weapon. The first issue I noticed is the tracking on it isn't very strong, and that's just the case for all piercing swords. You have kind of weaker tracking than like a straight sword. And then the other issue is it just doesn't deal enough damage to be able to trade with the other light weapons. So if you're fighting somebody who's competent with like a Lothric longsword, first of all, you're not really going to outrange him, and then second, he will happily trade with you because he knows he's going to win that trade. So that was a struggle. The next thing I noticed was against anyone who really was pretty practiced with the poise weapon, it was kind of an uphill battle then as well. So if you're fighting, a good example would be like Split Leaf or Gales or Claymore. The thing is, you have to catch them a number of times just because you're not reaching those damage breakpoints that would allow you to end the fight quickly. You have to catch them, I think, in at least 3 true combos, if you can get a true combo at all, right? So yeah, it struggled a bit against the poise weapons, and then it's not able to out-trade any of the serious light weapons. And that's how I ended up feeling kind of like this is more of a mid-tier weapon to be using. For invasions, Crystal Sage's Rapier definitely felt like a pretty poor weapon choice. It doesn't have poise, it doesn't really have the range you need to deal with any sort of group fight, and it definitely doesn't have the damage to quickly finish off a host in an opportune moment. So you would kind of chase and chase and chase, and they'd keep rolling and healing, and eventually you'd make a mistake, or they'd just play better or kind of figure your patterns out, right? Or more phantoms would join the match, like the blues would come in, or he'd actually re-summon his friend that I killed. I'll kill his friend, he just roll, bring the friend back in after the time limit is over. So yeah, I didn't enjoy it for invasions at all. The fashion is nice, but invasions were bad, and duels were just, they were okay, they were good, they were passable, right? That's what I'm saying, they weren't bad.
Very good.
Majestic!
Get your hands off me, Steven! Yeah!
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I try to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls. Go to the polls. Pokemon go to the polls. Pokemon polls.
Hello everyone, Torrent here, and today we have a Dark Sorcery build. We are using the Murky Longstaff to cast our Dark Sorceries. It does get that special weapon art Chant from the Depths, which boosts the strength of Dark Sorceries. Oh, we blast them in the butt with our great Soul Dregs.
You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
Can't let you do that, Star Fox.
Thank you.
Everyone's worthless at this talent show. I'm totally gonna win when I sing These Lumps. I know you wanna slump up on these lumps, but you can't 'cause you're a chump. A chump.